I'm going to show you how to ship your products into the Amazon FBA warehouse. And the first step to ship your products into the warehouse is to log into your Amazon Seller Central account. From there, once you're logged in, you're going to click on the three lines up here. You're going to go into inventory and you're going to click on Manage All Inventory. This is going to show you all the different products that you can sell on Amazon. And in order to ship into the Amazon FBA warehouse, the next step is to click on these three little dots right here. And we're going to click on Change to Fulfilled by Amazon. So now we're going to say barcode type selected, use Amazon barcodes. We could instead, if we wanted to, do the manufacturer barcodes, but let's just use the Amazon barcodes to make things easy. And then we're going to add the dangerous goods information. And let's see here. Battery information, no battery. Product registration information. Is this product considered dangerous goods or hazardous? No. And then we're going to click on Submit here. And we're going to list as FBA and send to Amazon. So the next step is we have to decide, do we want to send it in as individual units or do we want to create a new packaging template? For now, let's just send it as individual units. I think that might be a little bit easier. And prep and labeling details needed. There's no prep needed. So if you're selling powder pellets or something granular, something sharp, something small, or if it's sold as a set, you would select one of these. But for us, we're clicking on no prep needed and we're going to click save. And then who labels the units? You always want to do it as the seller because otherwise Amazon's going to charge you 55 cents per unit. So labeling the units is just adding a little sticker, what's called the FNSKU, which stands for, I think, Fulfillment Network Stock Keeping Unit. So it's basically just letting Amazon know. It's a barcode that lets Amazon know what the product is. So we're going to go ahead and click save here. The thing we have to do before we move on though is add the dimensions of the product. So in order to get the dimensions of our product, here it is. And I'm going to take this measuring tape. You can take a ruler, obviously. So we have the longest side is a little over 9 inches. Call that 9 1/4, maybe. 9 1/4. This side here, yeah, I was off. It's 5, we'll call it 5 3/4. And then the width is almost nothing. So in order to change that, we're going to go in here. We're going to click on Edit Listing. We're going to put 9 inches here. We're going to put, 0.5 is even. We'll probably put 0.25 or 0.1. Now let's put 0.2. And then we're going to put 5.8. So I'm just going to click Save and Finish. All right, then we're going to go here, click on Send and Replenish Inventory. Then we're going to put in how many units we want to send in here. I'm going to put in 10 units and I'm going to click on Ready to Pack. And we're going to click on Pack Individual Units. So I'm just sending in 10 individual units here. Everything will fit into one box. Confirm. So just to give you guys an update. So as far as the shipping date, we'll say Wednesday just to be safe. Amazon Fulfillment Center, maybe we'll say today. Why not? Let's say today. The Amazon Fulfillment Center versus the Amazon Warehousing and Distribution Center. Let's talk about the difference between these two. So the Amazon Fulfillment Center is like the Amazon warehouse. So if you're looking to sell products that are Amazon Prime eligible, then you want to send it to the Amazon Fulfillment Center. However, they have a second option, which is the Amazon Warehousing and Distribution Center. This option is only available for AWD eligible SKUs packed as single SKU boxes in step 1. So we're not even eligible for this, but this is if you have extra inventory that you want Amazon to warehouse for you. So you could do there. And that's a little bit cheaper. So you can keep it there for a little bit longer and it's a little bit cheaper. Yeah, one shipment, it's going to be $7.90, a $3 placement fee, $4.90 SPD shipping costs. We're going to click on Small Parcel Delivery. The other option is less than truckload or full truckload. So if you're looking to send like a whole pallet, like a big old pallet, this would be the option that you choose. We're just going to send Small Parcel Delivery. And it's only going to cost us $4.90. So we have one shipment here. And I'm going to go ahead and click this button. And this is just saying that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to package up the products into one big box. And then we're going to close the box down. One thing that I didn't mention yet is we want to put an FNSKU on each of the individual packages. And here we have the shipment information, the shipment ID, ship from, well, we want to change that address. It doesn't actually matter, but I would want to change that address. Print box and labels, that would work. So this is the labels that we're going to print out and we have to tape onto the box. So this first one is for UPS and then this one is for the Amazon warehouse. So we would take a box and we would tape both of these two items on it there. And from there, we're pretty much done. We could start a new shipment or we could move on like that. So yeah, that's how easy it is to create an Amazon shipment. But be careful before you print those shipping labels, because there is a massive mistake that I see most beginners make, especially right after big sales like Black Friday. You sell out of inventory, you celebrate, but then you realize you have no cash to restock for January. And every day you're out of stock, Amazon will penalize your ranking. Your supplier will ask to get paid upfront for your next production run, but Amazon will hold your sales for weeks. And traditional banks are too rigid and slow to help. That is why I recommend you check out Wayflyer. They are the leading revenue-based financing platform specifically built for e-commerce sellers. And Wayflyer will give you the cash you need without having to give up any ownership of your company. That is huge. They use real-time data from your store to make precise funding decisions in just minutes, with money in your account in just 24 to 48 hours. Then you can use this money to pay suppliers while waiting for Amazon to pay you. And repayment is super flexible. It's based on a small percentage of your daily sales. So if you have a slow week, you can pay back less. Plus, they even include free analytics tools. They've already funded over $5 billion to other brands, and they have $1 billion ready just to fund sellers preparing for Q1. Check out Wayflyer using the link below and get your offer in 24 to 48 hours. Next up, we're gonna have Connor come down and Connor show how to do it with the pork rinds. So he created his pork rinds. We're gonna show you just another example, just so you can see it done a different way.
We think that 2025 is going to be one of the best opportunities ever to launch products on Amazon. So we want to make sure that you are, if you're thinking about it, you can fully take advantage of it. And so if you've been on the fence for a while, there's never been a better time. But today we're talking about how to ship your products into Amazon. And if you've been following along, the product that I've been working to launch this week is ground pork rinds. These are a breadcrumb alternative to the carnivore diet. We discovered the product idea using helium-10 and we validated it. We found that people were searching for the idea and we found that there was not that much competition, especially if we market the product as really towards the carnivore diet. And I'm gonna show you how you can go on Amazon and within 5 minutes have labels printed out like this where you can send your product into Amazon. So to start us off here, let's navigate back over to your Amazon Seller Central account. Once you're on this page right here, we'll just navigate over to inventory and press Manage All Inventory. You want to scroll down and select your product. Now, we've already selected this product is for FBA. FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon, and that is where Amazon will handle all the picking, packing, and shipping of your product for you, as well as the customer service. So that you, as the business owner, can sit back and only focus on the things that really matter, which is making a great product and ordering new units. This is the most passive way to sell on Amazon because once we do a great launch week launching this product, the product will basically sell itself. As long as we've done all these steps in building a great product, we've validated that people are actually searching for it, that's all it takes. So what we're gonna do first is find our product right here. We can even see what the listing looks like right now. It's unavailable. Now the thing about FBA is we will need to send our product into the Amazon warehouse. I'm gonna show you how simple this can be. This is literally the majority of what running our businesses are now. Our products are making over $100,000 a month selling on Amazon, and that's possible because we are just sending in inventory. We go here and we do this, and this can be your life in business if you launch a product on Amazon too. We're gonna press this button right here that says Replenish Inventory, and it will take us to a page that looks like this. We can see ground pork rinds, and we can see right now it says individual units. Now, there's two ways to ship on Amazon. First, you can do individual units, which means you're packing in different size boxes. Usually, you're sending in various amounts. If you're sending in a low amount of inventory, this might be what you do. However, if you're sending in a larger amount, we'll press this button to create new packing template. And we'll just call this template main pork rinds to differentiate between our others, and we'll call it a case pack. Next, we'll select how many units per box. In this case, we'll be sending in 20 units per box, and then we'll put in the box dimensions. We ship in a box that's 12 by 12 by 12. It's very simple, and basically, to do the math, we can either weigh the box itself, or we can do a little bit of an estimation. Now, with shipping into Amazon, usually you'll be going with their partner carrier, which is UPS. And with UPS, it's always a little better to estimate slightly higher and take away that worst case scenario where you don't have enough payment on the label for them to ship it, and just estimate it slightly higher. But we can go back to our listing. We've already entered this information yesterday, and we can see that the units are 4 ounces each. If we do a little bit of quick math, we can do 4 ounces times 20 units equals 80 ounces. 80 ounces, 2 pounds equals 5 pounds. Plus we'll do a little bit of extra, so we'll just say that these weigh 6 pounds. Who preps the units? We want to fill this out. No prep is needed as we're sending in the units fully prepped and fully labeled, and we're using the manufacturer barcode. So we're going to press this button that says convert to use manufacturer barcode, because in this case, we have the UPC code printed on the product and not the FNSKU. The FNSKU is Amazon's version of a UPC code. A UPC code is a universal product code. This is the barcode that's found on most any product that you find in the grocery store, in Walmart, online. However, Amazon also has their own internal barcoding system. If you're only selling on Amazon, you can use an FNSKU to be simple. However, if you ever plan on selling in multiple locations, such as in stores, such as on Shopify, then it makes sense to use a UPC code, and for most product cases, Amazon will simply let you press this button and convert to use a manufacturer barcode. Simple as that. Now we're good to use the UPC codes that we will have printed on the product. Now we can go back over to the prep guidance and press the save button, and it will save this information. The seller will label the units. That means we're putting on the barcodes. If you do not have barcodes on your product, you have 2 options. Either you can get barcodes on your product, which honestly is going to be the cheaper option. All you need to do is order some sticker paper and print out the barcodes. It's super simple. You can literally go over to Amazon like this and look up label, sticker, paper, even put in barcodes right here, and we can see we can easily find some sticker paper. Right here we have some 8x12. This works in any paper and we can print them out easily. However, if you really don't want to do it yourself, if there's not a way for you to do it yourself, what you can do is you can press, it went away now, but 2 seconds ago it was there. You can press the button to have Amazon label the units for you. They'll charge about 55 cents as of the recording of this video per unit, so it can be very expensive. For instance, if we're sending in 1,000 units, we're gonna have to pay $550. That's why it's usually cheaper if we can just take a second and either make the barcode part of our label, which we do in this case, or if we don't do that, at least put the stickers on there ourselves so we don't have to pay Amazon a whole lot of extra money. And make sure to press this save button right there. That's how quick it can be. And then make sure, once you've made the case box, that we can go back over here and we can press main pork rinds. And now it's pulled up all the information. Now, if you have a type of box that you typically ship in, this is the way you can do it. Because now to ship in, all we have to do is go over here into boxes and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and select how many boxes we're sending in, and then the expiration date. We set up this product so that the expiration date is actually printed on the product itself. Now we do that because that means that number will dictate the number. This expiration number does not actually matter. This is just for Amazon's sake in making sure that you're sending in products that don't expire too quickly. For instance, it's going to take several weeks for our product to get into Amazon. Then it may take up to a month or 2 for a customer to actually order each unit before we sell out. And then the customer needs time to actually consume that. So Amazon won't let you send in any inventory that's going to expire within 2 months. Other than that, they don't care about this number. So just to be safe, we're going out and we're just selecting a date that's way into the future. And we're going to press ready to send. Next, we'll press confirm and continue right here. This will take just a second. Amazon is loading it up. They're putting in all this information. We're sending in 4 boxes, but I want to show you a little trick. Starting around a year ago, Amazon now charges a distribution fee. This is because, as you guys know, if you shop on Amazon, Amazon Prime lets you order any item that's on Amazon and receive it within 2 days. Even in some locations like us in Los Angeles, we can receive items within 1 day and sometimes overnight shipping. The way Amazon is able to do that is because they have their inventory spread out across multiple warehouses. So they might have a warehouse in California, a warehouse in New York, a warehouse in Florida. So that way your product doesn't have to make it all the way across the country. Otherwise 2-day shipping would be impossible. So what Amazon will do is they will have to distribute your product out across the warehouses. So you have 2 options. Either you can do it yourself and send your inventory to at least 5 locations, or you can send it into 1 location and Amazon will charge you a fee for them to do it for you. This will also take longer, so typically I like to do it myself and send in at least 5 fitments. So we will go 5 boxes here, so that way we can be sending 1 box to each of the 5 fulfillment centers so we do not have to pay a distribution fee. Once this is done, we're going to press confirm and continue. We have 100 units, 5 boxes on our main pork rinds packing case pallets that we have set up here. As you can see, there are now 2 more options right here. the Amazon Fulfillment Center. This is where FBA occurs. This is where Amazon will pick, pack, and ship your orders out to customers from, and is the front of the line shipping centers. Obviously, this is where you need to get your inventory eventually. However, you don't want to have too much inventory on FBA. If you have inventory that sits in FBA longer than 90 days, you'll start getting charged a long-term storage fee. Amazon wants to make sure you don't overstock your inventory because their warehouse only has a certain amount of space. So if there's inventory in there that's not getting moved, that's taking up space that can be filled by someone else. So they will start charging you a long-term storage fee. That's why it's very important to make sure that you do not send in too much inventory to FBA. And a recent thing they started doing is an AWD. This is Amazon Warehouse and Distribution and is Amazon's long-term storage solution. So if you have extra inventory that you do not want to keep at your manufacturer, at your house, or at your 3PL, which is your third-party logistics company warehouse, then you can send in your extra inventory into Amazon AWD. The advantage is the storage fee is very low and it's super easy to send it into FBA from there. In fact, it's just a click of a button and you can get your units from AWD into FBA faster than if you were to send them from your house, which can sometimes take up to 6 weeks for my units to become eligible. Now, we hope it's not going to take a full 6 weeks, but it can take that long. And sometimes our shipments do, just especially in like busy times of the year, like around the holidays and Black Friday. First up here, we will press the shipment date. We're sending these units right into FBA, so we'll select the Amazon Fulfillment Center. Now, just as I told you a second ago, we can see two options for sending in a small parcel delivery. Small parcel delivery is anything less than a pallet. A pallet is one of those big crates that you see loaded up, full of boxes that's all wrapped up. And if you're sending in a pallet, you can probably do something called LTL. LTL stands for less than truckload and means that you aren't sending in an entire truckload, but you're still sending in a pallet. So they'll pick it up and they'll drop it off. Now, if you're sending in a low amount of inventory, you usually won't even worry about LTL. And especially with the distribution fee, oftentimes it's more cost advantageous to not go with LTL, as you'll have to send in multiple pallets to avoid that distribution fee. As you can see, the placement fee. It's only $30 here, but sometimes it can be a lot more than that. But let's go back to small parcel delivery, as we're only sending in 100 units to start out. We can see with 5 shipments, the total cost is going to be $42, as we're sending in 5 shipments to multiple locations. If we wanted to just send in 1 shipment, let's just say we only had 1 box full, or we only had a certain number of boxes that was not divisible by 5. Then we could go 1 shipment, and as you can see, we'd be paying slightly more money for us to pay this $30 placement fee. You can also see the different places we can send it to. We can send it to the east and save $2 extra. However, the issue with sending it to the east is that the east is on the other side of the country, so our package will take a whole lot longer to be received, and for just $2 extra, I'm not going to worry about that. But again, we aren't going to worry about this at all because we're sending in 5 shipments, so we can avoid paying any of that placement fee. Right here, you can see we've selected small parcel delivery, and there's that less than truckload and full truckload options, and we will be shipping with UPS, which is usually the default Amazon partnered carrier. Amazon gets amazing rates with UPS, so these rates you're paying now will be much cheaper than anything you would pay outside of Amazon. Again, you could go with a non-Amazon partnered carrier, but again, this rate 99% of the time will be cheaper than any other rate that you can get to Amazon. A question that pops up a lot: you cannot drop your product off at Amazon yourself. Back 10 years ago, you used to be able to drive up to the Amazon warehouse and load off your packages. You can't do that anymore. They have to be sent in from an actual carrier that works with packages. You can even do this over here, but I don't recommend it. So we can see these 5 shipments and we can see where they are going. Again, another thing that's really important, a big mistake, probably the number 1 mistake people make, is checking this address at the top and making sure this matches up with where you actually are. And if it doesn't, you'll have to go back and fix this. Because if this address is incorrect and you're shipping in from somewhere that's actually far away, UPS won't accept the shipment. Your shipments aren't going anywhere, and Amazon can charge you a major penalty. So we want to make sure if this is not our actual address that we get this fixed. And you can do that up at the top here or by pressing this change button. However, keep in mind, this will probably update your prices. We can go ahead and select an address right here. I'll select my address, and we can even change these for all these. Again, it's easier to do at the very, very top, but we can do this right here this way as well. And we'll go ahead and change this one more time, and we'll go change one more. Again, super important, and the biggest mistake that most people make is making sure that the ship from address, especially if you're doing a pickup, is correct. Once this is all done, it's going to load up the new costs. Again, it didn't change too much. Maybe it changed by a couple bucks, but those addresses weren't that far apart, to be honest with you, and that was just for simplicity's sake. Now, when you're ready to do this, we can press accept charges and confirm shipping. this will get charged right away. However, you have 24 hours to cancel. If you realize that there's anything wrong with the shipments or you aren't going to be able to send them out, you have 24 hours, no more than that, but you have 24 hours to cancel. So let's go ahead and press accept charges. Wow, it looks like the price even went down a little bit upon refresh. It says we're only going to be paying 33 bucks. So maybe that's why, maybe when we updated these addresses, the price actually went down. So 33 bucks, we just saved 9 bucks. So this all worked out to our benefit. So let's keep giving it a second. Again, this can take a second. It's generating your labels, and we're going to show you how you can print them out. So when printing out the labels, we'll talk about this in a second once we see the labels. Here we go. I can see the tracking numbers show up down there. You have two options. You can print them out on US letter paper. This is like this. This is what a regular printer will print off on, and you can then tape this down on your boxes. That's option number one. Option number two is to do a thermal printer. And I love thermal printers. Number one, because they don't use any of the ink. And number two, because they'll print it out in sticker paper and I can just peel it off and stick it down. A thermal paper, we'll show you exactly what this looks like in a second. You can get a thermal printer for like 60 bucks on Amazon. I think especially if you're going to be doing this a lot, it's very worth it. But for now, just for simplicity's sake, we have these labels printed out on regular letter paper and we can just tape them down on the boxes. So what we want to go ahead and do is press print on each one of these. We'll print all 5 of these labels out and we'll stick them on the boxes. Then we're ready to go. We'll ship these units into Amazon, and Amazon will have usually up to 6 weeks to process them. Because we're already sending it in to many warehouses, they're already partially distributed, so it shouldn't take too long, but it can take up to 6 weeks. 2 weeks, I'd say, is a low amount of time. It could take up to 6 though, so that's why you should always brace for it. And something to keep in mind is back over here in Manage Inventory, on our unit. Let's go in here real quick. We want to make sure that we set the release date for our product in the future, because what will happen is as soon as Amazon receives your inventory, they're going to make your product listing go live unless this release date is in the future. So look at it. It's the 12th right now. Let's go ahead and set this date for May 30th, because what we don't want is our product to go live before we're ready for a launch week. The thing about it is your first week on Amazon matters so much. That's where you're building momentum. You have that new launch boost. And Amazon is trying to figure out how serious you are about doing this. Are you an actual business that's going to sell well? Or are you kind of just throwing this on here and seeing what happens, right? Your first week is literally the determinant of your success on Amazon. So you need to make sure you're ready to go. In fact, it's something we talk about a whole lot more detail in the Passion Product Formula. If you're looking to launch on Amazon, there is no better way to do so than to follow along in our step-by-step guide. All these products you see behind me right here are our students who have gone through this program and launched. And what makes it so great is it's literally a step-by-step process to launch on Amazon. I couldn't recommend anything more than this.
And by using the link in the description down below, you can sign up for a free one-on-one call with someone on my team to teach you how to sell on Amazon, as well as give you a complete game plan on the next steps. We'll also tell you a little bit more about our Amazon FBA program and see if we can help you in any way. There's a link down below for that. You can click on that link, fill out the form, and sign up for your free call. However, I do have a free 12-hour Amazon FBA course that you can get just by clicking right here. It's a YouTube video. It's completely free. Just click on this video. I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.